a table valued parameter actually to pass multi-values to an entity inside the database. I think this is task number 2. So we are going to explore all the features one by one until we reach the creation of a procedure like the one we are having here. The purpose is to deal with a multi-valued parameter, uh, and we use it to insert or to update an entity within our database. We are going to deal with the same database we created earlier. First of all, actually, I'm going to explore my users to see the capabilities what they can actually visualize. Later on, we'll create our stored procedures and our type objects. We use them to populate an entity and so on. So, first of all, my SQL Server, I'm going to relaunch it actually. I'm going to relaunch it. My start menu, SSMS. Great. I'm going to log in as an administrator. So SQL at my SQL Server. Yes, I'm in. Great. I'm as an administrator, system admin. My database where it is. This is my database I'm going to use. So here I'm going to launch a new query builder. Here it is. Great. I'm going to start by specifying that I need my work to be pointed to the database students. Use students. Here it appears. I'm going to specify it. Yes. Go. Execute. But everything is set. I'm on all the thing actually is inside the students database. Okay. We may create new, but no need. As the request is asking us to use the former database, let's do that. Let's follow all the instructions we have. What entities we have here, actually, they are 4. We may use that. Let's come back to the question and see what he's asking us to do, first of all. So we create procedures to populate entities, to insert values to entities. We have actually student names, I believe, not students in our database. Let's start. Create a procedure first of all and see what procedure can do. Yeah, we have a student names. We don't have actually students here. We student names. The database is students and the table is student names. Great. Yeah, so meanwhile, simply we are going to create actually a procedure. Sorry, create procedure. We are going to give it actually the name respectively. It's a user defined stored procedure. Then yeah, names, user defined procedure names. Okay, it's user defined name, nothing but user defined name. For now, actually, we are going to only specify. Sorry, specify only that we are going, and we are going to specify that we are having only to insert simple values only. No, nothing but to insert simple values, no more. Actually, we may specify that we are going to create from the beginning an entity and so on. Yet we are going to specify that only we are going to insert new values. So the block here, actually, I'm gonna just specify immediately. There is no block here because we are going to do it without any parameters for now. So the process here is simply to, for example, let's say we're going to list first of all the content of the entity students, and later on we'll talk about the insert. So students, whatever it is the name, student, same spelling, student names. Here, this is the one. What is the student names? I'm going to select star from. Select star from this entity. Simply, that's it. I'm going to create my procedure here. I highlight, execute. Happened successfully. If I redo the execution, it will give me an error. Yes, exactly. Already exists object. Already exists an object. Good. So we have it. Where I can find this user defined name, which is the name of the created procedure, created stored procedure. We are inside the database, no? We specify that we are inside the database. So we go to the programmability inside our database here, database inside, then we search for the programmability here it is. Stored procedures, explore that, expand that. You'll find your USP names available somewhere. Here it is, USP names. Here it is. This is the one. Okay, I'm gonna just explore that. I'm gonna try to execute it, but simply we saw that actually. The name of the procedure, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna call the keyword exact the executor. That would actually launch the execution for our procedure. Yeah, wait, here it is. Go. To respect the syntax, no more no less. Nothing is there. Great. Nothing is there. It has done. It did not give us an error, but it gave us the fields. What are those things? What are those things? So see, I'm gonna execute only this statement. See, this is outside of the procedure. I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna paste it, and I'm gonna execute it. Simple statement with an semicolon. Good. I'm gonna execute only this statement. I had the same result. I had the same result. So the structure, I'm gonna explore the content of this entity student names. So top to hundreds. We'll find, yes, SCD name, last name, major, all of them, semester, all of them, they are the same actually as the ones we are having here. The same. What does it mean? It means that this procedure has been generated successfully. Okay, that's great. So now we know how to create a stored procedure. Let's create another stored procedure, but not to display, to insert, since the entity is empty now. Let's create a second one, another stored procedure that inserts data or inserts values into our student names. What are the fields of the student names? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that and explore one by one. So I'm going to create, I'm going to say procedure. I'm going to give it the name user stored procedure in names. Okay, in names. Okay, as insert into. I'm going to say student names. Student names. I'm going to say values. Come on. Close the parenthesis here. Values. What are the values? The first field is SID. It's an int. So I'm going to say, for example, 1, comma, enter. The second field is name. I'm going to say in between single quotations. I'm going to say, for example, Mrad, comma. Third field is last name. So I'm going to put in between two single quotations also. I'm going to say in Chiri, for example, comma. Major, still it's a varchar, so I'm between two single quotations. I'm going to say cybersecurity, comma. Then after semester registration, it's a date. I'm going to consider it as a varchar, and it is a varchar actually. I'm going to say 3/3/2021, okay, comma. And email, it's a varchar, so I'm going to specify it as an varchaso.com, comma. The last is mobile number, it's an int. I'm going to say 9999999. Great, it's enough. I'm going to now highlight all. What all? This procedure only, the procedure only executed has been generated. What does it mean? Does it mean that we have inserted to the table students values. No, we did not. Why? Because see, I'm going to execute now. Select nothing. Still empty. Still no data. Why? Because we created a procedure. We did not insert. When we execute the procedure, at that time there will be actually an insert. Let's execute this procedure. What's the name? USP in names. Execute. Exec. USP in. Here it appears. Names. Go respect the syntax. So one row affected. That's perfect. Let's select again. Let's come back and select this entity again and see the results. See now. We are having values. We are having values. I'm going to insert again. I'm going to execute the. I'm going to insert. Sorry, execute the procedure again. No, yes, again. One row affected. I'm going to select again. See what we will get. Two records. Two records. I'm going to execute the procedure third time. Affected, no error. Let's see what are the contents of this entity now. These student names again. Execute. Three records. Wait. Since we haven't actually an entity without primary key and without actually the referential integrity, it would keep in certain values as many as we are as the times of execution of this stored procedure. What is the stored procedure? Let me refresh the stored procedures hive here. Refresh. What is it? This is the name USP in names. Yes, this is the one. USP in names. This is the one. USP in names. So we are proceeding. We know how to create a procedure and how to manipulate the content. Mainly, actually, we can. And let's do something. Actually, let's do something. Let's update the values of one of the records here. I'm going to create a third procedure. I'm going to create a third procedure to update. For example, the name, not Murad. I'm going to change it to Oman. I'm going to change the name to be Oman. Okay, let's do that. Let's create a procedure. Let's say, oh, sorry, procedure. I'm going to say user defined stored procedure um, updates. User updates. I'm going to say USR updates. Okay, as what? Update. What is the entity name? Student names. So I'm going to update the student names. Student names. Set what? For example, the name. Not for example. We're choosing to be the name field. The name. Set name equal. I'm going to say Aman between two double quotations, single quotations. Where clause? Where what? Let's say when the SID equal to 1. Well, the same spelling SID equals to 1. Okay, let's execute and create this procedure. Has been successfully done. Did it change the values of the table inside the table? No, absolutely not, because we created the procedure only. Still Murad, Murad, Murad. Now let's call this procedure in order to see those changes. So I'm gonna call this procedure here. So exec our sort procedure, then the go. Wait, execute. 3 rows has been affected. 3. Let's check the contents now. Murad or Oman? Oman, Oman, Oman. Yes, they have been actually they got updated. Got updated how? By just executing the procedure, the stored procedure. We just executed the stored procedure. See, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something now. I'm gonna open the entity student names in edition mode, the contents, edit top 200 rows. I'm gonna close this open already. I'm gonna close from here. I'm gonna reopen it again. Here it is. We have the records now available. I'm going to change the ID to be here 2. And here, I'm going to say, okay, no row was updated. The data in row 2 was not committed. This is Microsoft. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to delete this row completely. Let's see if it goes. Okay, do 2 or 2. Data tools. Yeah, because actually I have already an issue. So they have to be actually primary key, otherwise we will get some errors like the one we are seeing in front of us. No more or less. I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in the query builder. So I'm gonna delete content of this entity. Delete from student names where let's say SID equals 1. Okay, semicolon. Okay, highlight, execute. 3 rows affected. Let's see now. Is there any still any data? No, it's empty. Very great, very great. Let's execute the procedure in which we do the insert, which is this procedure. I'm going to call this procedure now. Here it is. Execute. 1 row affected. Very good. Very good. Let's select now. Let's check again. Now, what is the select? Here it is. Execute. Yes, we have 1 record. Okay. We were about to update, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Let's update this one again. I'm going to call so this procedure. Execute affected. Let's check the values again. Change it to Oman. That's great. That's great. Great. Let's move to the second part, which is to create the procedure to populate the courses taken by all students. The courses is the courses entity. Departments. We don't have courses, but let's have we have subjects. We have subjects. So let's consider that it is talking about the subjects here instead of courses. So we're going. They are subjects only. They are true. It's true only. The name is different. Courses and subjects. So let's update the subjects. Create start the procedure to populate, not to update, to populate this subject's entity. So what I'm gonna do, so create usually, so without thinking, without failure, procedure. Great, I'm gonna give it the name user defined procedure. Here, subjects. Okay, as we are going to insert into these subjects. What are the things we have inside these subjects? Let's check what this subject table have. I'm going to do that before this start procedure. Here I'm going to do simple select star from, here it is, yes, semicolon, highlight, execute. I have 4 fields, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's follow that. So let's continue our procedure. as insert into subjects. Here it is. I choose values. I'm going to say values. Okay. Close the parenthesis. And in between, the first value is sub ID. It's an int. So I'm going to say 1. Second is sub name. So it's vatcha. I'm going to say here DB security. Okay. Comma. Third one is instructor. I'm going to say Murad. Fourth one is dep ID, department ID. I'm going to say it's an int. It's 1. Wait, I finished. Let's create this procedure. Let's execute this block. Execute. Yes, completed successfully. Did we insert values? Where? Did we insert values to this subject table? Let's check that. No, nothing. Why? Because we created the procedure. We did not insert. Now let's execute this procedure to insert. I'm going to execute this procedure. So here, somewhere, I'm going to say exec. The name of the procedure, USP. Subjects, here it is. I choose it. New line go. So here, respect of syntax. Execute. Affected. Let's check the content now. Yes, now we will have to have values. Yes, they are the same values we specified here. Any questions, please, so far? So
No,
that's great.
Mr.
So on this level, we continue now. Yeah, let's pass to task number 2. We're going to create actually a stored procedure, but this stored procedure we're going to populate a table with values, and those values they have to come actually from a type table type. So we see the example in front of us, but let me explain that to you actually. Okay, I'm going to create we'll talk actually about the students only. We're going to populate the same students. Where it is? Yes, here it is. We talk about something like this one. Yet we talk differently because we are going to use a table type to insert values to these student names. Let's do that here now. To use a table type to populate this one, we have to create a type as a table and we give it a body structure architecture, and then after we populate it to use it for inserting values into this entity. I'm gonna create a type. Create type. I'm gonna say new std or new student. New student, okay. As table. Simple. We saw that in theory. Exactly. And this table would have an architecture. This table would have an architecture. Let's say ID, it's an int. Let's say name, it's Vacha with the size 50, and it's enough. It's enough. Yes, we are going to create a type. Let's create another third field, which is last name. Last name Vacha. Also, it's 50. Okay, very enough. Does not need to be with the same architecture like the table, students or student names. No, it's not the same. It does not have to be with the same architecture like this one. We have 7 or 8 fields. Okay, 7 fields. 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 7 fi Okay, let's execute that. Highlight, execute, completed successfully. What does it mean? It means there is something generated with the user-defined name new student, and it is available somewhere in the Solution Explorer or the Object Explorer. So it is a type. So you'll find under the type group. This is the type group, types group. Open it, and see we are not able to see it. No, we can see the user-defined table types here. Just I'm going to expand it. And what is our type name is new student. Here it is. This is our new student. It's available already. Okay, I'm going to explore. I can explore that actually. Regardless. Now we have this type, and we are going to use it to insert values to the student names. Let's dig in. Let's dig in. Let's dig in. So we have already mm, the table, and we have the type now. Let's create the procedure. Procedure. I'm going to give it the name USP. USP table type. Table type. Table type. Okay. CD for students. Okay. As we have our process. Before the as here, we are going to declare a variable that would hold the ID number from this new student, and the name, another variable for the name, and other variable for the last name. So I'm going to say SID in small. Okay, here I'm not going to specify SID because let's make it easy. I want to declare a variable that has this type, not the parameters here, the full type. So I'm going to say here std, simpler std, and it would have the type new student. So I'm going to type new student. Okay, student. Sorry, read only. So as per the request, it has to be read only. As per the thing. I was thinking actually why we let it be simple for now. Let it be simple. Okay, insert here as insert into what user the student names entity. Insert into student names. Here it is. I choose. I'm gonna say values down. What are the values? The values are what we are going to bring from this entity, which are three values, and the remaining we bring from ourselves. So the ID, the name, the last name, then the rest, all of them we can copy paste. So I'm going to copy paste those things here. Values. I'm going to say here, select immediately after the values. I'm not opening parentheses. I'm going to say select what? Star, select not star. I'm going to say ID, comma, name, comma, what? Third one, last name. Here it is. Last name. Okay. Very near. Last name, comma, but I copied already, paste here, not here. I'm sorry, those are the values. So last name, okay. Now I'm gonna give actually in between two parentheses. We have fourth name, cybersecurity. It is the field. Yeah, great here. Let's be here. Okay. After the last name, we have the major. The major, I'm gonna say between single quotations, I'm gonna say IS. Then let me give the same values. That's it. Simply, simply keep them in just one line. Okay, great. Here I'm gonna execute the. I'm gonna. There is no values. Sorry. I'm gonna execute this stored procedure. I have an error. What did he say? Procedure of type of CD line and valid column name ID. Select ID. Yes, exactly. From, because here we have to specify from what? From the type we had already, the new student. From the new student, I'm going to copy paste. Invalid object name, he's saying. We'll check that actually because it has to be available. New student, here it is available already. We'll see if it gets executed or not. So let's create this procedure. Yes, successfully generated. Good. Let's execute it now. So I'm going to call the name here at the end. Exec space paste. Okay, go here. Execute. I have an error. Procedure table type std line 4 invalids our object name new student. Did we create the type new student? I'm gonna select execute. Already exists. Yes, it's there. Yeah. What is the thing missing here actually is that in the batch. Yeah, he's saying that it has to be actually the only state in the batch, but it's not the point exactly. So I'm gonna specify semicolon here. I'm gonna copy, create a new query builder, paste. It's the same, but I'm just putting in another query builder. Okay, save. Not here. I'm gonna just execute. We have error. Still procedure table line one. There is already an object named. Yes, it has been generated. It has been generated. So let's check it. It's a procedure. So procedure. It is. I click refresh. The name is USP table type std. This is the one. Okay, I'm gonna execute this procedure here immediately. Execute. Yes. The invalid name new cd. New student. He's saying invalid name, invalid object name. New student. Yeah, exactly. What is this new student? This new student, if I come back here, it is a type we created. The type we cannot use immediately a type here inside the procedure. We have to declare an object from this type. So here before, we have to declare an object. Let's say obj. Let's say insert. It's a variable name, so it has to be preceded with an arrows at sign. Insert the declare. So I'm going to say the type is new student. Yes, the type is new student. Okay, semicolon. I'm going to execute. Affected. I go to the other page where I have this one actually. Execute. Still, already exists. You say. Yeah. So here I'm going to execute only a valid object. I'm going to bring that declaration to this page also. Bring the declaration here. And here I'm going to modify this name to this name here. You have to make it run actually. What's the error? He create alter procedure must be the first statement in the query batch. Okay, now let's execute. Okay, let me check what's the error here now. Um, must declare the table variable. It has to be declared, he's saying. Yeah, it is already declared. Yes, exactly. It has to be. Yes, I said std here. Std, it's std only. So choose that std. Okay, let's use that std. Let's execute. Already exists. I'm going to change the name here to std2 because to avoid the error we had. Okay, has been generated. Let's call this 2 now here. Execute it. Yes, it has been executed. What happened? We inserted values into what? Into this student name using what? Using the ID name from this type. From this type. Let's select everything from this table now student names. Come back here, and from the student names, I'm going to select stuff from subjects. Select stuff from student names. Okay. I highlight, execute. See what happened. This is all value or what? Even though actually, because I do not know what did we insert in this type, but alas, it has been generated. What we have to, let me see the guide. Okay, it's another practice of the same process. So type then an entity, then the procedure. Type entity then procedure. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop the recording here. I'm gonna stop the recording here, and I give you the video. If you have any questions, you raise immediately.